So the previous video, my top 50 video, actually does pretty well, so thank you all for that. Today we're going to make a tier list of the most beautiful and most ugliest helmets of 2021. But there's one but. Since I believe it's 2018, they made a change in the rule book that a driver is allowed to change their helmet throughout the season. Well, before 2018, I believe there was a certain rule that allowed drivers to have 1 or 2 special designs. But here comes the thing. In my personal opinion, drivers have too many helmets in a season. It's unrecognizable anymore, and almost every race they have a special helmet for that occasion. So that's why I just decided to make a tier list for just the classic helmets. And if you like this idea, I can do another video about every single helmet or the special helmets, because there are a lot. Especially Sebastian Vettel, he almost wore a different helmet design every single race. But I'm curious to see if anyone else had this great idea. I mean, I just started recording and I don't even know if somebody else made this video already. I think we're good. So, quick disclaimer, this is my list, and with my list comes my opinions. You maybe have other opinions, that's totally fine, but this is my list. If you have different opinions, please state them in the comments, but keep that in mind that this is my list, so it's not based on facts or whatever, it's just based on opinion, so go easy. In front of me, I have a tier maker list, which I made today, and we have certain categories, which are favorites, great, good, mwah, and bad. So anyway, let's dive right in. What I like about this next helmet, which belongs to Alonso, is that he uses a design which he used in his Renault days, but he actually updates it to the Alpine team. And if you don't know, Renault is basically Alpine now. I really like this helmet. It really pops, colors really pop, fits with the car, but also stands out a lot, which I really like. You see red, yellow and red, which represent the Spanish flag. And just overall, when you look at this helmet, it pops, very original and easy to recognize and link to Fernando Alonso. This is going to favorites. There you go. Next up is George Russell. To me, a very bad helmet. I don't really like George Russell's helmet, at Williams at least. To me, this orangey reddish color he uses here does not fit the blue we use on this helmet. What worked great on the 2020 Mercedes helmet works not so great on the 2021 helmet. It's really primary color based, and I don't really like that. I think we forget about this helmet in no time. So to me, this is also going to meh, or even bad. I'm sorry, even too bad. I don't dislike it that much. Next up, another helmet which I was not really sure who it belonged to, but I had to Google it actually, and belongs to number 7, Kimi Raikkonen. This design, when I look at it, I'm not really sure. When I look at this design, first thing that comes to mind is it's very generic, because at this point in time he drove for the Alfa Romeo Sauber team in Formula 1. Why does this man have blue in his helmet? Look at this one. This one without the blue looks great. Looking backwards, I know he won 1 championship in 2007. If you take that in mind, I really like the idea of having a gold lining on there. I think it was shown to show that he's a 1-time world champion. But this is one to forget very soon. This is going straight to bad. Next up, interesting one, Lewis Hamilton's helmet. Although I'm not a fan of Hamilton himself, this helmet is actually very nice. And if I had to choose between a really colorful helmet or this stealth-wise helmet, I would pick the colorful helmet, because I'm not really a fan of this whole stylish stealth style. Doesn't really pop, doesn't really, you know. But if I think one thing that he has done very nice is, if I think of a specific purple colored helmet, I think of Hamilton, which I believe he uses this helmet for the 2nd or 3rd year in a row. These are basically half-scale helmets, and they really mess up the purple color. In real life, it's a very darkish purple. I like it, although it doesn't really pop. I like the color scheme a lot. Purple is actually one of my favorite colors. Personally, I'm not really a fan of this very dark aesthetic. I'm pretty stealthy. A friend of mine actually has this as a favorite helmet. I'm going to put it not in favorites. I really like the purplish lining though. I really like that. However, I am going to put it into great. Next up, I think the next helmet is going to be very easy to recognize, because he uses a very consistent color scheme, which is Lando Norris. One thing I like about his helmet, it's very universal. He uses very many different designs throughout the whole season. And as you can see, even with the special designs Norris used, you can see that the majority of the helmet is actually the same, which is this striped pattern. I don't really like the pattern, but I really like that he has the unity of helmets throughout the season, even though they're vastly different. So I really like this one actually. He uses a design very similar throughout the years, which I really like. And if I had to choose one helmet which I think will become very iconic, it's this helmet right here. And that's what I like again, is that the boldness of not having the same scheme as your team. So it's very easy to recognize your helmet. So I'm going to say that this is going to be very iconic in the future. Just because of the fact it's going to be iconic in my opinion, and it's very universal, I'm going to put it at great. Next up, a very simple helmet. So a helmet or design on itself, sometimes simple is better, but you can also cross that line of oversimplifying things. And I think this helmet falls in that last category of being a little bit too simple and lacks effort. This man, apart from being I hate to say it, but it's the truth, he's to me a pretty forgettable driver. Don't take this personally if you see this video, but his helmet designs also are very forgettable. Let's take a look back in 2022 or 2020. And again, he uses the same color as the team with a very boring design. So he basically bases off his helmet fully on the team. It's rather boring actually. 2019, how boring? The same helmet, same color, same design, stripe at the top. Let's go 1 year back, Stroll 2018. Again, he bases it off his team. He based it off the Martini branding. So apart from having very boring designs, 2021 may strike the most boring design of all. I'm going to put this in a category which we haven't yet used, which is meh. That's right, meh. Wait, I accidentally put this helmet here, which wasn't really on purpose. Next up we have Michael Schumacher's helmet. I'm not really sure about this design. This helmet I actually like. And this is a prime example of having simple design, but also very nice. This design, however, the lime green, I don't like. I don't really like the color scheme at all. But it's a nice homage to that, so I'm going to put it in good. Nah, I'm going to put it in meh, just kidding, because I really don't like the colors. Anyway, next up, Max Verstappen's helmet. 19. We get a very similar design to what he has now, and I think from 2019 on, he used a design which is become rather iconic. If I think of a white helmet, I think of Max Verstappen. The fact that he has a design on this helmet, which is also rather universal. So let's look at the Spa helmet. Uses the very much the same design. And also the Brazilian helmet, which I think is one of the best helmets of 2021. He takes the core design of the helmet and he puts it to other designs throughout the season as well. And I really like white helmets. It looks really clean. That's why I'm going to put it in great. Next up, a helmet that is so forgettable, so plain and so generic. I have no idea who it belongs to until I googled it. And it belongs to number 6, Nicolas Latifi, Mr. Nutella himself. What a forgettable design this is. Red, white and blue, I have no idea why. Maybe it's because of the French side of Canada. The design is just so plain, it's boring snake skin. I mean, this is a Call of Duty lobby or something. And this very strange calligraphical LS or SF. I have no idea which logo that is. Forgettable, in my honest opinion. We're going to put this in bad tier. Cheers, mate. Next up, it's a two-tone helmet, which is very rare, and it's basically a very bright orange and a dark gray, almost black. This helmet belongs to a not so popular driver in Formula 1, and that guy is Nakita Mazespin. Although everything about his career so far is pretty forgettable, his helmet is not. This is a case of a very simple design, a very simple two-tone helmet, which I think works very well. It really pops out of the Haas car as well. When I see this helmet, when I see the bright orangey, reddish, I will recognize it right away and I will link it to Mazepin. I don't think the design is really astonishing, groundbreaking. I don't think it's the greatest design out there, although it's very simple. So we're going to put this into a tier which we haven't put anything into it yet, which is good. There we go. Next up, I'm not even sure which this one belongs to, because I know it's an AlphaTauri helmet, because the huge ass advertisements on the side. Apparently, if you're an AlphaTauri driver, you have to put AlphaTauri this big on the side of your helmet. Why? We know you're an AlphaTauri because you drive one. We don't have to see it on a helmet. We know. Pierre Gasly helmet. It's a very simple helmet, and he uses a very nice pattern of his number and his logo in there as well. I mean, I really like this design thing that he has going on here, but then again, the huge AlphaTauri, why? So this is going to meh. Next up, we have Sebastian Vettel's helmet. In general, the helmets Vettel uses are very similar in design. Alright, so he of course went to Aston Martin, which has BWT as their main sponsor, or one of the main sponsors. I don't really like that he doesn't have the German flag anymore. It's supposed to represent something of the German flag, but it's pink, so it's not the German flag. If he went to use this helmet, I would like it more. With this helmet, I don't really like how they utilize the pink. It's kind of a gradient from white going to pink. And in my honest opinion, I think this helmet is one of the most forgettable of his career. But I'm going to put it at, man. There we go. Next up, Sergio Perez. Again, a helmet that heavily features the color lime green, which I really don't like. Apparently, again, we have to utilize the huge Red Bull design. I don't really like it, and I don't know why. It has some interesting elements to it, but it doesn't really butter together that much. It has so many colors going on here. I'm going to put this at, yeah. Next up, Valtteri Bottas. His helmet design, I think he uses the same design of the majority of his whole season, at least at Mercedes. 2019, we have white, black and blue. 2020, again, a very similar helmet to last year. And if we go to 2021, he upgraded the blue, which I like. I think the previous blue is a little bit too plain, too dark. And I kind of like this design actually. Not really astounding in any kind of way. But I also think it's not worthy of the group meh. So that's why I'm going to put it at good, just because of the color scheme. Next up, we have Pierre Gasly. Oh no, we have Yuki Tsunoda's helmet. It's the same one as Pierre, almost the same. Color-wise and design-wise as well. So for that exact reason, I'm going to put it at meh. So let us continue with our list with number 99, Antonio Giovinazzi. Obviously he went with a Italian flag design on his helmet. I really like the simpleness of it and that it has almost no sponsors. One thing I don't really like is looking close up here is the different shades of green he uses. I think this helmet would have looked perfect, really perfect, if it went for a flat design. Because right now with the 3D and the shadows and the gradients in there and the different types of colors, they really went for a simple design, which I like, but certain details are not really my favorite. I'm going to put this into the middle in good. Next up, very bold design, and that belongs to Daniel Ricciardo. And Ricciardo has some very interesting helmets the past seasons. He tried to incorporate the design that he had in 2019 at Renault. I really like this tealish, mint greenish blue that he has going on here. I have no idea why he has the most random slogans on the top of his helmet. Always all good or all good always. I have no idea what that is. Alright, so I'm going to say the color on this is perfect, but the design, the tiered paper and the all good always on top, I'm not digging that. So I'm not going to put it in meh, it's not that bad, so I'm going to put it in good. Next up, my favorite helmet of this whole season, Carlos Sainz. What I do really like about this helmet is the color and how it pops. Of course, he utilized that in his helmet. And like I said a million times before, I really like when drivers put their national flag on the helmet. I mean, it's simple, it's nice. I think this helmet would have looked 10 times better if we used a monochrome logo of the Kaspersky and Arriva. Black helmets, red interior, and I just really like the Spanish flag design on here as well. I mean, to me, this is the best. He's the Chile man, Mr. Chile. This is my favorite helmet, and it's going to favorites. Next up, Charles Leclerc's helmet. There's supposed to be a huge Mission Win Now sticker here and on the sides as well. I have no idea why that's missing. Leclerc is also a driver which changed his design very much throughout the season, and I don't really like that at all. He basically changes this almost every race, but the majority stays the same. So number 16 stays the same, the Monaco flag stays the same, the Kaspersky and Arriva stays the same. I like the design, but I think it's a bit too busy. I like it, but I don't think it's good enough to be at great, so I'm going to put it at good. Last up, I mistaken this one with Latifi's helmet. So when I look at this design, I think of the Williams drivers, Latifi and George Russell. It doesn't have any wow factor, to be honest. I mean, it's a bunch of racing design. I mean, there's always this stereotypical design with racing helmets with a lot of aerodynamic shapes and whatever. And to me, this is just a generic helmet. If you were to load up Formula 1 2021 and this was a generic helmet, I would have believed it, really. It's that generic. I'm either doubting between bad or just straight up meh. I think it's meh. I think it's worthy of meh. So I think if I were to sit here tomorrow again, I will put the same helmets in the same list. So that pretty much rounds up this video. Next time I'm planning on doing a tier list of every single special helmet they used in this whole season. And look at this list, it's humongous. In my opinion, drivers should just stick to 1 or 2 helmets per season because look at this. So that's basically rounds up my tier list of my favorite helmets and my worst favorite helmets of the 2021 season of Formula 1. So a small teaser for the next video is I ordered something and it's supposed to come next week. And I'm planning on doing a review on that. I hope you really like my list, and if you didn't like my list, if you have different views on it, it's totally okay. Let them know down in the comments. I'm all for discussion. So thank you all for watching, and hope to see you guys in the next video as well. So goodbye.